All right, people, welcome back. It is Sunday, October 6th, 2024, and I just wrapped up the day's work in the trunk on the 60. We're about 90% done. I'm just gonna go over and explain what I did. Unfortunately, I didn't record anything of the process, mainly because, man, it's hot. We have to turn the fans off. I have to stop what we're doing to get the camera and all that just to record. And so I'm just going to do a little overview of what took place yesterday. So we made the pressure lines. Like I said previously, I was waiting on the 90 bulkheads, and man, you would think that it would be simple to do those, but being that it's so close to the battery, you almost gotta have a 90. And then also being that pressure line is almost in plane with the bulkhead itself, and since the bulkhead is not staggered, the lines will overlap themselves, and you can't do that. So this is what I came up with. It's pretty simple. Of course, with the battery in there, you hardly even see them, which is kind of good. It's kind of good, but they're there. 1/2-inch stainless steel. I did swap out some fittings down low for a 90 instead of a straight coming out. Made things a little easier. Those are 2 accumulators. So basically the hard lines mirror themselves. Once I did that, I still got to take them off and polish them. Of course, there's no oil or anything in it yet. Got to take them off and polish those. I did order some hoses earlier today, so I'm gonna be able to hook up the hoses to the cylinders. After that, I started wiring, started building the battery cables, which I scored this sleeve stuff off of eBay. I have a friend of mine who obviously watches the channel, and we communicate on Instagram and stuff, and he turned me on to these things, man, and I'm really loving it, man. They're cheap. I'll put a link in the description. Sold by the foot. I think it probably amounts to, I don't know, man, 30 cents a foot or something cheap like that. And the best way to describe it is how he did is it's kind of like those Chinese finger traps. You have to kind of worm it on over the cable, and then I got some green heat shrink to finish it off. So I'm loving the battery cables. All that's wired up. Just got to hook up the ground, which is laying over there behind the pump, but hook the ground up to that post right there, then connect the ground under the front seat, and we should have power. After that, I started wiring up the solenoids. Of course, they're tucked on the side of the batteries. We can't even see them, but had to wire them from this side over here. It's all hooked up to one of them terminal blocks. It's under this battery rack right here, so you can't see it. I'm really praying that we wired it up right. I did make a diagram over here of what we did, and it looks foreign, but it's pretty simple. Left front pump, left front dump, pump, dump, pump, dump, pump, dump, and then the colors of the wires. And with that, I should be able to wire up the switches. The switch panel is already wired, just got to connect the wires according to the color. So I'm praying that all the connections are good and that we wired it properly, because if not, to try and troubleshoot, it would be a real pain in the butt. The process for this was the batteries. Well, first I built the hard lines, then the batteries had to go in, or at least that front one, and then the pumps, because if the pump is in, you can't get the battery in and out. Not to mention these things are heavy. You don't want to be hovering over the fin or the wing or anything like that, and don't trust the battery handle. But yeah, the goal was to have as many wires hidden, and I think we achieved that. I did run that sleeve over the dump wires as well, but it's real thin, so it kind of looks like those computer cables. So I dig it. There's no oil in anything right now, but the trunk is pretty much done. Like I say, I just gotta polish the lines, take them off, polish them, tighten the bulkhead down, or the bracket I should say, but naturally the lines are kind of holding it in place as well, so that's not going anywhere. But yeah, this was a job. This was a lot a lot of bending over and working in the trunk. Man, I'm sore, my back is sore, but it's in, and we didn't damage anything, we didn't scratch anything. Really loving the motor end caps and the motor bands. So let me know what you guys think on these battery hold downs. I have these rematch things that I had made. My friend of mine made them. They're out of stainless. Mixed feelings about putting them on the hold down. Yay or nay? I don't know. Kind of like it without. Also kind of thinking maybe making some sort of little stand and mount it in the trunk there or something for car show purposes or whatever. Anyways, after that we did get the car on the lift and took the drive shaft out. The drive shaft unfortunately needs to be narrowed, or shortened I should say, because I already loaded in the truck. When the car is suspended in the air on the lift and the rear end hangs low, the slip yoke bottoms out, and with the hydraulics it's going to go up a little bit higher than that, and it's going to jam that carrier bearing, and it's a solid bearing, so it's going to shred it. So unfortunately I got to pay some more money to get the drive shaft reworked. So got that loaded up, but that's this weekend's update. I'm digging it. I kind of like, my style is I kind of like what you would call, I guess, like a still street setup. Obviously this is not a basic street setup, but I still like to see the batteries and to see the trunk mat, or maybe a painted trunk floor or something like that, versus having the trunk all paneled off. That's just my preference. I like to see everything. Some people build panels and don't see anything, so different strokes, different folks, but I like to see the batteries. That's why I painted them. I'm liking the hold downs with the hidden bolts. So I'm going to leave a link for the cable cover. They sell different colors, about 4 or 5 different colors. So that's it. Need to change out them bolts and trunk bolts, and just real minor detail stuff that really isn't really worth recording. But the car is sitting pretty low right now. It's on 1 ton springs in the rear. Might go a little bit lower, might cut half a turn off or so. We'll see. Maybe they'll break in. Not in a rush to have the car bottoming out. I don't want to do that at all. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this update. And I believe next is simply run the hoses, probably wire up a switch panel, and check for leaks. Bring you guys back whenever we get there. Y'all stay tuned for more work. Thanks for watching.